We are now on candid camera, meaning the live streaming is now working. Good morning. Let's continue. Since we just had the bracha about singing blessings to praise God's name, let's do it. Page 85, do the 9th line in Hebrew, skip a line and do the 11th line in Hebrew. Hey, good morning. Good, Shabbat Shalom. We're on page 85, 9th line, and then 11th line in Hebrew. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, umelo. Yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, umelo. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, umelo. Yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, umelo. Let's go to page 87, in the middle of the page where we go to single lines in Hebrew. If anyone, by the way, has any requests as we're going through this section of a song you particularly like, let me know. We can do it. And if we don't know it, then you can teach us. Torah Adonai T'mima, Torah Adonai T'mima, Torah Adonai T'mima, Neshivana Hafesh, Eidut Adonai, Nemana, Machkimat Peti, Pikudei Adonai Yisharim, Pikudei Adonai Yisharim, Pikudei Adonai Yisharim, Mesamchei lev, Mitzvat Adonai bara Neirat einayim, Yirat Adonai Tehora, Yirat Adonai Tehora, Yirat Adonai Tehora, Omedet la'an, Bishtetei Adonai, Emet, Tzaku yachdav. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai. Yai, lai, 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 yai. I like songs that have both words and yellow notes. And if we're on the same page, 87, the last stanza, may the words of my mouth, like the songs that have words, and the meditations of my heart. Sometimes when I'm doing the yellow laws, the meditations of my heart can come to the surface. Just the melody can touch something in our soul. So I like that it talks about both those things, as the song we just sang. So let's do the last two lines in Hebrew, and then we'll go to the English, the beginning of that last paragraph. And if this doesn't sound like a Jewish melody, it isn't. Yehiyu v'ratzon imrei fi v'hegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri v'kovali. Once more in Hebrew. Yehiyu v'ratzon imrei fi v'hegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri v'kovali. English. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable unto you, Adonai. So let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable unto you, Adonai. Does this sound familiar to anybody? Yes? Yeah, it's a like a Rasta melody, and it starts off with, but it's clearly inspired by Jewish sources. It starts off with, by the waters of Babylon, there we sat down, and there we were, when we remembered Zion. But the wicked carried us away, captivity required of us a song. How can we sing King of a song in a strange land? So let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable unto you, over I. They say over I instead of under I, which I also really think is cool. Thanks, I'm glad you knew that. Okay, let's continue on page 89, counting up from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Limno Yamenu Kain Hodav and Avi Levav Chachma, which is comparable to the English, 4 stanzas up the last 2 lines. It's not use all our days, so teach us to number our days that we attain art of wisdom. Teach us to number our days. And especially since we're 1 month away from Rosh Hashanah, and each day counts as we prepare for the high holidays, I thought this would be a good one to sing today. Limnot Yameinu, Limnot Yameinu, Limnot Yameinu Kain Hoda Ben Avi Levav Chochmah Limnot Yameinu Kein Hoda Ben Avi Levav Chochmah. Teach us to number our days. Teach us to number our days, that we attain a heart of wisdom. Teach us to number our days, that we attain a heart of wisdom. Teach us to number our days. Page 94, a day that we count towards, but we give it a name, Shabbat, unlike the other days of the week, which we count by first day, second day, third day. Let's sing a song for the Sabbath day. It's good to give praise and to give thanks. Starts with the second line. I'll start with the first line. Mizmor shir liyom hashabbat, tov lehodot Adonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, lehagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunatcha baleilot, ale asor balei navel, ale higayon bechinor, mizmor shir liyom hashabbat, tov lehodot Adonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, ki simchtani Adonai befoalecha, b'maaseh yadecha alanein, ma gadlu maasecha Adonai, be'od hamkumach shivotecha, mizmor shir leyom hashabbat, tov lehodot Adonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, uzamer l'shimcha elyon. Alrighty then. Same page 94, 6 lines up from the bottom. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. Which melody would you like? Katamar yifrach ke'eretz avanon Yiskeshetulim Beit Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Oyenu B'Seva Deshenim Berananim Yehu Lehagi Ki Yashar Adonai Tzuri Belo Avatavo. Page 100 in the middle of the page. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 b'kadsho, hallelujah, b'kiyahuso, hallelujah, b'gurotav, hallelujah, kerov. Hallelujah, 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 b'tei kashofar, hallelujah, b'nevel b'chinor, hallelujah, b'tofu machor, hallelujah, b'minim b'bugam. Hallelujah, 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 b'tzil tzlei shama, hallelujah, b'tzil tzlei truah, kol hanshama, Hallelujah, 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 ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la la ya la 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 la. Page 104. The top of the page, Nishma Kochai, the soul, the breath of every living thing, can give praise to God. Nishma Kochai, Tivarech et Shimcha, Adonai Eloheinu, Nishma kochai, tivarech et shimcha, Adonai Eloheinu, ya la 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 Let's read together the same page, the last paragraph in English. From Egypt you redeemed us, from the house of bondage you delivered us. In famine you nourished us, in prosperity you sustained us. You rescued us from the sword, protected us from pestilence, and saved us from severe and lingering disease. To this day your compassion has sustained us. Your kindness has not forsaken us. Never abandon us, Adonai, our God. Let's continue on page 105, 2 paragraphs up from the bottom of the Hebrew side. But let's start with the second line, the second word that Judy taught us that song. And then, if you are willing to lead us again. And then we'll go up to Shochenad and go through it. We'll use the song as the intro to it because it's a very different kind of.
Everybody sing with me.
What?
I want people to sing with me.
We'll do our best. I'll try.
Maybe you would sing with your once and stuff.
Raninu tzadikim.
Raninu tzadikim. Raninu tzadikim. Yisharim atila. Raninu tzadikim. Raninu tzadikim. Raninu tzadikim. One more time, we'll get it. Raninu tzadikim. Raninu tzadikim. Raninu tzadikim. Yisharim atila. Raninu tzadikim. Raninu tzadikim. Raninu tzadikim. Yisharim atila. Thank you.
You should dance.
Why not? The prayer before talks about praising God with our whole bodies. So if anyone wants to get up and dance anytime, it works. So let's see, we've had a Rasta melody, we've had this melody, and by the way, the melody we sang for Hallelujah, 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 that's also not a Jewish melody by its source. I think it's an Indian melody, actually. So it's nice to see how these things get woven, though, into our prayers. Okay. Shochenan maharam v'kadosh shemo v'chatuban tzakim baronai v'sharim levatila v'fi sharim tikala u'divrei tzadikim tikvarach u'bilshon chasidim tikromah u'v'keret kedoshim Tikadash Umakalot Ridimot Amecha Beit Yisrael B'nai Parashim Chalakim V'Kodor Shekein Chobat Kol HaYitzurim Lefanecha Adonai Eloheinu V'Elohei Avoteinu Lehodot Lehalel לשבח, לפאר, לרומם, להדר, לברך, לעלהו קלס, על כל דברי שירות ותשבחו, דוד בן ישי, עבדך משיחך, ישתבח שמך, לאנוכנו. ברכות והודות מעתה ועד עולם ברוך אתה אדוני אל מלך גדול בתשבחות אל ההודות אדון הנפלאות הבוקר בשירי זמרה מלך אלוקי העולמים. Praised are you, Adonai, delighting in our songs and psalms, exalted ruler, eternal life of the universe. So let's keep delighting God in our songs and psalms. I keep singing on page 108 El Adon. It's also in transliteration on the bottom of the page, giving thanks for all the lights in the sky, day and night. El Adon al kol hama'asim baruch umborach befi kol neshama hagvado v'tuva oman le'olam da'at u'tvuna so v'bimotav Hamika Chayot HaKodesh V'nedar B'chavor Al HaMerkava Zechut Umishor Lifnei Kiso Chesed V'rachamim Lifnei Kvodo Tovim Me'oro Shebara Eloheinu Yitzhara B'da'at B'bina U'paskel Koach Ugvura Natan Bahem Liot Moshlim B'keret Te'per B'leim Zivum Fikino Gana Ezivon Mechol HaOlam Zermekim B'tzeitam V'sasim Devoam Osim Ehi Maritzon Kolam Pe'er B'chavod No V'lishon Tzara V'rina Lezecher Malchuto Kara L'Shemesh Vayizrach Ora V'hikin Tzurat Havana Shevach Limo Kol Tzeva Marom Tiferet Ugedula Tzerach Be'ofanim B'chayot HaKodesh Lai 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 Ya lai 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 Ya 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 la 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 Asher Shava Mikol Hamaasim. Page 109 at the top. Let's read the first paragraph together. To God, who completed the work of creation on the seventh day and ascended God's glorious throne. God robed the day of rest in beauty, calling Shabbat a delight. God ceased all God's labors on Shabbat. That is its distinction. The seventh day itself hymns praise to God. A song for Shabbat. It is good to acclaim Adonai. Tibarach Moshe Moshevach Maaseh Yadecha Bal Me'orei Or She'asita Yefaru Chasecha. Page 110. Tibarach Tzurenu Malkeinu V'Goaleinu Borei Kedoshim Asher Shetach. 3.5 lines from the top at the box in the middle of the line. Kulam ahuvim, kulam berurim, kulam giborim, v'kulam osim be'ema u'bira retzon konam, v'kulam pochim et pihem, b'kedusha u'b'tahara, b'shira u'b'zimra, u'mevarchim u'meshavachim, מפארים ומעריצים ומקדישים וממליכים את שם האל המלך הגדול הגיבור והנורא קדוש הוא וכולם מקבלים עליהם עול מלכות שמיים זה מזה ונותנים רשות זה לזה להקדיש ליוצרם בנחת רוח ושפה ברורה ונימה קדושה, כולם כאחד עונים ואומרים ביראה, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. באופנים וחיות הקודש, ברעש גדול מנסים לעומת צרפים, לעומתם משבחים ואומרים, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו, Ve'el Baruch be'imotitenu V'melech el chai v'kayam Zmirot yomeru v'tishbachot yashmiu Ki hu levado Po'el gevurot oseh chadashot Ba'al milchamot zorei tzedakot Matzniach yeshuot borei refuot Noah tehilot Adon hanifraot Hamechadesh b'tubo b'chol yom tamid Ma'aseh v'reshit Ka'amor le'orim gadolin Ki le'olam chasto Or chadash al Tzion ta'ir V'nizeh chulanu mehera le'ora Baruch ata Adonai Yotzer on the top of page 111, as we prepare for the Shema on the next page, which calls upon us to love God with all our heart, soul, and might. Let's first chant the first three words, Ahava, Rabbah, Ahavtanu. With great love you have loved us, to get in touch with all the gifts of love and caring that we received in our lives, before we turn to the Shema on the next page. Ahava Rabbah Ahavtanu 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 Ahava And let's continue, same page, the middle of the second paragraph at the box. Vahavi'enu l'shalom me'arba kanfot haaretz v'tolichenu komeniyut le'artzeinu ki el Yeshua ata ubanu b'charta mikol ha'mirashon v'kerabtanu l'shimcha hagadol Selah be'emet lehodot lecha uleyachecha b'yahava Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'amo Yisrael be'ahava Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Ve'ah melech asher anochi mitzarecha hayom alavavecha Vishinantam levanecha v'dibartam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'vechtecha b'derech u'v'shachtecha u'kumecha u'shartam le'ot al-yerdecha v'hayu l'totafot b'einecha Uchavtam al mizuzot beitecha u'b'yisharecha.
Could you chant the third paragraph by doing it?
Sure, when we get there. Let's continue to ourselves in the middle of 112, and then we have a request to chant the top paragraph on 113. At the top of page 113, chant together. Vayomer Adonai Moshe Lemor Taber El Bnei Yisrael V'amarta Aleihem V'asu Lahem Tzitzit Al Kanfei V'deihem L'Dorotam V'nadu Al Tzitzit HaKanaf B'til Techelet V'haya lachem tzitzit uritem oto u'zchartem et kol mitzvot Adonai v'asitem otam ve'lo taturu acharei lebavchem ve'acharei einechem Asher atem zonim achareihem leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot lachem Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem.
No, we are ready for the bar mitzvah.
ודור ודור הוא קיים ושמו קיים, וחיצון אחרון מלכות דבר גדולה קיים. Page 113, the last four lines. Emet she'atahu Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Malkeinu Melech Avoteinu, Avoteinu, Go'aleinu, Go'el Avoteinu, Yotzreinu Tzur Yeshuateinu, Hodeinu U'Matzileinu, Me'olam Shemecha, Ein Elohim Zulatecha, Etzrat Avoteinu Atanu Me'olam. Let's continue with the Micha Mocha in the middle of 114, and then we'll go into the Amidah, which it looks like we'll do silently. One thing to try to remember to add, we have an addition, the Amidah today. Anyone know what it's going to be for?
The new month.
Yes, Rosh Chodesh.
Rosh Chodesh.
Today is the new month of Elul. The heat rises, the pace gets more intense as that countdown to Rosh Hashanah now really starts in earnest. So when we come to page 18, if you look on the Hebrew side, the fourth very small line, on in English, Rosh Chodesh in Hebrew, and in English, Shabbat Chol HaMoed in Hebrew. I just love the way they put the English and Hebrew in that line instead of all English wrong. Anyways, we had the Ya'alev Yavo prayer and for the line on Rosh Chodesh. Okay, when we're doing it, because it's Rosh Chodesh. So back to 114. Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Ba'elim Adonai, Ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Nedar B'Kodesh, Nedar B'Kodesh, Nohora, Nohora, Tehilot, Tehilot, Shira Charasha Shivchu Bilim Mishmucha Sfat Hayam Yachad Kulam Udavim Lichu V'Amru Adonai Yimloch V'Olam Va'ed Sur Yisrael Kuma Bezrat Yisrael Umteichin Umecha Yehuda beYisrael, Go Aleinu Adonai Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch Adonai Gad Yisrael. 15b, we continue on. I just noticed something, I think for the first time, prayer that I've done many, many times. If we look on where we are on page 120, so what's one of the things the Jewish people are supposed to do to God? To give thanks and blessings, right? We're supposed to do 100 blessings a day, blessing God for things, right? And most of our blessings begin with Baruch Atah. Okay. So look at and often the blessing formula is the last sentence of the paragraph. It's called the Chatimah. It's called the signature, the conclusion. So if we look on the paragraph, Baruch Atah Hashem, blessed are you God, Hamarech et Amo Yisrael B'Shalom. Amen. Blessed are you, God, who blesses God's people Israel with peace. Interesting that the word for blessing, baruch, or bracha, is there twice in that bracha. We're blessing God, and we're also reminding that God blesses us. Not a great revelation, but for me, this was a new one today, because usually we're just thinking about us giving blessings to God, but God also blesses us. It's a two-way street. And in this paragraph, more than any other, we see it. If you look in the second line, Barchenu Avinu Kulanu Ke'echad Bior Panecha, bless us, our Father, all of us as one, with the light of your countenance. So it's good for us to remember the blessings we get from God, even as we bless God. And by the way, when we do that little nigun at the end of the Amidah, it really goes to page 120, the middle of that second line, the words I just said. Barchenu Avinu Kulanu Ke'echad, Kulanu Ke'echad, Be'or Panecha. La 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
Isn't this in life is the same thing? When you give to someone, you want to feel that there is communication.
Yeah, and a mutual relation. Yes. Yeah. Well, I knew if I talked long enough, we'd get him in. But actually, we also, because today is once again
Rosh
Rosh Chodesh. What happens on Rosh Chodesh?
Hallel.
Hallel. That's right. A half a Hallel.
Okay.
But half a Hallel is better than no Hallel at all, right?
That doesn't apply to challah,
What makes the half and what makes it?
If you go to 133,
But I mean, why is it a half?
uh,
though. It's not that major.
yeah, it's
We're gonna be doing high holidays.
It's not one of the Pesach, Sukkot, and Shavuot, one of the biggies, but it's still so important enough that it certainly gets some praise in there. Okay, so we go to page 133. If we're able, please rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et ha'halel. Let's do it in English. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, who rules the universe, instilling in us the holiness of mitzvot by commanding us to recite Hallel. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Adonai, hallelujah, Shem Adonai. God lifts the poor out of the dust, raises the needy from the rubbish heap, and seats them with the powerful of God's people. God settles a barren woman in her home, a mother happy with children. Hallelujah. Miki mimefartal, me'ashpot yarim evyon, lehoshivi in nidivei amo, moshivi akeret habayit, em habanim semecha, hallelujah. B'tzeit Yisrael mitzrayim, Beit Yaakov me'am lo'ez. B'tzeit Yisrael mitzrayim, Beit Yaakov me'am lo'ez. Hayta Yehuda lekodsho, Yisrael mamshilotav. Hayam Ravayanos, Hayadorden Yisov ve'achor, Heharim Ratu Che'elim, Gebaot Kinehetzon, B'tzeit Yisrael mitzrayim, Beit Yaakov me'am lo'ez. Malecha hayam, kitanus, hayarden, tisov ve'achor, heharim, Tirkelu chelim, Gevaot, Kinehetzon, Milifnei Adon, Chuli Haaretz, milifnei Eloah Yaakov, Hahofchi Hatzur, Agamayim, Chamish, Lemaino Mahayim. Middle of 134. Adonai Zecharanu Yivarech et Beit Yisrael, Yivarech et Beit Aharon, Yivarech Yirei Adonai, Hatanim Hadolim, Yosef Adonai Alechem ve'Alechem לפניכם, ברוכים אתם אדוני, עושה שמיים לארץ, השמיים שמיים לאדוני, והארץ נתן לבני אדם, לא המתים יהללויה, ולא כל יורדי דומה, ואנחנו נברך יה, מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם, Continuing on our own, the bottom of 135. Ma'ashiv Adonai kol ha'imim. Fifth line. Ana Adonai ki ani avdecha ani ben amatecha ben amatecha pitachta lemoserai. Ana Adonai ki ani avdecha ben amatecha ani avdecha ben amatecha pitachta lemoserai. Lecha ezbach zevach Torah u'b'shem Adonai yakra. Nedarai Adonai hashalem negdana lechol amo. B'chatzrof beit Adonai b'tochech Yerushalayim. Hallelujah. 136. Hallelujah Adonai. Kol goyim shachu kol ha'onim ki gafar aleinu chas emet Adonai le'olam. Hallelujah. Hodu Adonai ki le'olam chasta. Yomarna Yisrael ki le'olam chasta. Yomruna Beita Halom ki le'olam chasta. Yomruna Yirchei Adonai ki le'olam chasta. Anani v'hamechavya min hametzar kaharatia. Anani v'hamechavya anani v'hamechavya anani v'hamechavya. 8 lines up from the bottom. Ozi v'zimrat yah v'yehili Yeshua, Ozi, Bezimrata, Vayehili, 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 Yeshua, Ozi, Kind of get us to sing two parts.
It works. I heard it.
Good. And the last two lines. Pihikuli Sharei Tzedek Ahavobam Odeyah. Pihikuli Sharei Tzedek Ahavobam Odeyah. Zeh Hashem Adonai Tzadikim Yavohu. Zeh Hashem Adonai Tzadikim Yavohu. 137. Odecha ki anitani v'atehili Yeshua. Odecha ki anitani v'atehili Yeshua. Eben masu habonim hayta lerosh pina. Eben masu habonim hayta lerosh pina. Ve'et Adonai hayta zol hinifat be'eineinu. Ve'et Adonai hayta zol hinifat be'eineinu. Zeh hayom asa Adonai Nagila v'nismecha bo. Zeh hayom asa Adonai Nagila v'nismecha bo. Adonai Hoshiana, Adonai Hoshiana, Adonai Hoshiana, Adonai Hoshiana, Adonai Hatzlichana, Adonai Hatzlichana, Adonai Hatzlichana, Adonai Hatzlichana. Baruch haba b'shem Adonai, Be'erachnu chem b'beit Adonai, Baruch haba b'shem Adonai, ve'erachnu chem b'beit Adonai, el Adonai v'ya'er lanu. Yisruchar ba'avotim ad karnot hamizbeach, el Adonai v'ya'er lanu. Yisruchar ba'avotim ad karnot hamizbeach. Eli ata ve'odeka, Elohai aromimeka. Eli ata ve'odeka, Elohai aromimeka. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chasto. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chasto. Adonai Eloheinu kol ma'asecha. Ki lecha tov lehodot v'lishimcha na'el lezamer, ki mi'olam ad olam ata el baruch ata Adonai melech mehulav v'tishbachot. 138. Feel free to have a seat. Yikara v'yikara shemei v'avai, yamad yirachnu tev yamech v'achutei v'chachonu v'mechot v'chayirko be'Yisrael v'agol v'zman kari v'yimiru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabban mevarach le'olam lo me'amaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yikara v'yidum amin aseh ve'elam kol v'chata v'shirata v'shvakata v'nechemata Miranda V'Yimiru. Amen. Tikabal Sotanu Baton Chesrav Kalamam V'Shmai V'Yimiru. Amen. Yehi Shlamarav Min Shem Aya V'Chaim Aleim V'Chesrav V'Yimiru. Amen. Oseh Shalom V'Mamara Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Yimiru. Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Ramah, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Yimru. Amen. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael. Let's continue with service for taking the Torah out of the Ark. Andrea, you're up for it. I'm sure. And do we have some Gabayim today? Do I see the co-chair of the religious committee swirling in his seat?
It's rocking back and forth.
Isn't there a thing where to tell the truth where they kind of stand up? See who stands up when.
What did you say?
Oh, really? Okay.
Why don't we put a chair over here?
Oh, there you go. I'll go get a
No,
chair.
seriously, that's not, and if it's no, it's still no, I respect that.
Okay.
I'll go get a chair.
No, they're right back there.
Or better yet,
I got one
over
right
there.
here.
Oh, okay,
I got one right here.
okay.
Better yet, over there,
Yes.
on that side. You're deciding
Which side
which
you
one's gonna do which part.
Actually, I don't know who's sitting.
I'm not deciding, you two are deciding
All right,
that.
here's the chair. You all figure it out. I'll just move it.
Sit on this side.
Yes.
You want the chair here?
I'll be the,
The page
I'll
chair.
be the spotter of the Torah.
Okay, you good with calling folks up? Are you good with calling people up for all the open stuff?
Yeah, she's great at that.
I don't know anybody's Hebrew name, I don't know anything.
There you go.
I'm not good at that.
Alright,
But I'm good at following along.
So you can just pick names. and if you
Let's
don't
do it
have
this
names,
way.
Just say people's names.
Mitzi, you wanna play tag team and you sit up here too and help and coach?
I don't say.
She
I
can't
got
sit
another
here.
chair. I got two chairs instead of.
It's okay, if you can't see,
Alright, well, you know, just come to other English names, and they'll tell you.
just sit down and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, okay.
I can sit a little, I just.
Yeah.
That's all right, you can sit and do whatever you want. How's that? This is the come as you are synagogue. Yeah, me
And
too.
not yet, we'll do it a little later so people can stand a little bit. We'll start on page 139.
Alright.
No, I meant for the 10 person.
Oh, yes, that's a good point.
We just did the.
Yeah, yeah, but I didn't do it for the five. Good point.
Are we all good?
Yeah.
All right. Ein kamocha v'Elokim Adonai v'ein kamasecha malchutecha malchut kol amin u'mishaltecha b'chol dor v'dor
Adonai melech, Adonai malach,
Adonai
Yimloch le'olam la'ed.
Adonai Hosea Mohitain Adonai Yivarech Etamu B'Shalom Aharachami Eitiv Aretzon HaEtzion Tivnei Chamot Yerushalayim Tivnei Chamot Yerushalayim Ki Lecha Levavat Avnu Melech Eram V'Nisa Adonai.
Let's stand as the ark is open.
Vayehi so Aharon Vayomer Moshe
Kuma Adonai,
V'yafutzu oivecha V'yanusu nisanecha V'panecha Ki mitzion tetzei Torah Ki mitzion tetzei Torah U'nevar Adonai V'Yerushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Li'amo Yisrael V'Kedushato Be'anarachet V'lishmei Kadisha Kadisha Yakira Ana Emar Tushbecha Be'anarachet Be'anarachet V'lishmei Kadisha Kadisha Yakira Ana Emar Tushbecha Yeherama Adama V'ti'etali V'yarata V'tashmi Mishalim V'libi V'libadecha Amat Yisrael V'tabel Chayim V'lishma Amen. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai
Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai. Adonai Shemo
Echad
Eloheinu
Adol
Adonai
Adol
Shemo Gadu Adonai iti V'ramama Shemo Yachdav Lecha Adonai
What is this gentleman saying?
Romamu, Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'ishtachavu, Le'adonai Romamu, Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'ishtachavu,
Let's be seated. Okay, the Torah portion for this morning can be found on page 1076.
There it is.
And one, even though this Torah portion is just the regular one in the regular order of stuff, it's the regular order of Torah portions, but see as we're going through it if you can find any resonances with the high holidays or this time of year. Let me grant you, it'll be a long shot. Bye,
I have a secret.
I'll come. I get it.
Good.
Then you say download it. היה זו בגיל של כל החוסים בעולם הערבים, הכל הגוגל ואוהבים בתורה.
Ya'amod, Ira, are you a Levi?
No.
Nitza,
Yeah,
Bat,
תעמוד לדין במקום אחרים.
then come with me for a minute. Nitza, Bat, Menachem, Bat, yeah.
ראש נתן תורה, לימה ישוע בקדושתו, אתם מביאים לכם חיים כולכם.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אמן. מקץ 7 שנים תעשה שמיטה וזה דבר השמיטה שמות כל פעם שידו אשר ישב ברעהו לא יגוס את רעהו ואת אחיו כי קרא שמיטה אדוני את הנכרי תגוס באשר יהיה לך את אחיך תשמט ידך.
אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אמן.
Ta'amod,
Lori?
Ta'amod, what is your name?
לא,
No, there wasn't a Kohen, so the lady was a Kohen. and-
there's no Kohanim and no Levim.
And the
Now
Israel's
it's
a Levi.
now it's Israel.
It's a promotion.
Ta'amod,
Leah Bat Yehoshua
Leah Bat Yehoshua Rivka, Shani, Yisrael, Bimcham.
And come on.
This is the build yourself building. Baruch Hu et Adonai Baruch.
Baruch Adonai Baruch
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bocher banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Efes ki lo yeh b'cha evyon, ki barech yivarechecha Adonai ba'aretz asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha.
גדול תיאום.
She agrees with you.
Nachala rishta. No, it's okay. I make mistakes. רק אם שמוע תשמע בקול אדוני אלוהיך לשמור לעשות את כל המצווה הזאת אשר אנוכי מצווך היום כי אדוני אלוהיך ברכך כאשר דיבר לך אהבת גויים רבים ואתה לא תעבוד ומשלת רבים ובך לא ימשלו.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan Torah emes v'chayei olam natan b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
One sec before you go. Oh, Mr. Vera. Yom Kippur, which is like custom. I have to give it a second. Now I remember the page. אלמלא רחמים שוכן במרומים המצי מנוחה לפניו תחת כנפי השכינה במעלו קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מהצירים את נשמת ולבו בן ברל שהלך לעולמו בגן עדן תהי מנוחתו אנא בעל הרחמים הזכירהו בסתר כנפיך לעולמים ותצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו, אדוני הוא נחלתו, וינוח בשלום על משכבו, ברמה. Amen. We will never build mountains.
It's a you.
So now we're on 1077, sentence 7.
Yes.
Ya'amod Chaim ben Abraham v'Leah Shlishi.
Very good.
Help me find it.
Already room.
If I can count to 7.
It's a lifetime appointment now. Permanent.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorah. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'nasan lanu es torazo. Baruch atah Adonai nosen haTorah.
האביון מאחד אחיך באחד שלך בארצך אשר אלוהיך נותן לך לא תאמץ לבבך ולא תקפוץ את ידך מאחיך האחרון כי פתוח תפתח את ידך לו והעלית ביתנו די מחסרו אשר יחסר לו הישמר לך פן יהיה דבר אם לבבך בריאה לאמור קרבה שנת השבע שנת השמיטה ורעך ואחיך האביון ולא תיתן לו קרא עליך אל אדוני והיה בך חטא.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Toras and v'chayei olam notah b'sachenu. Baruch atah Adonai, nosein haTorah.
Amen. Ta'amud, Abraham v'Sarah, v'Aliyah hariyim. Running out of people.
That's right. Well, I'll call
What
you.
is,
Andrea?
Yeah.
I don't know her, but she'll tell you. I sit down.
I'll just rest against this.
Okay, but you can also sit here.
Baruch Adonai HaTorah.
Baruch Adonai HaTorah le'olam vaed.
Baruch Adonai HaTorah le'olam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bokar banu mikol ha'amim ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה Adonai נותן התורה.
Amen. נתון תיתן לו ולא יראה לבבך ותתחלו כי בגלל הדבר הזה יברכך אדוני אלוהיך בכל מעשה ובכל משלוח ידיך כי לא יחדל אביון מקרב הארץ על כן אנוכי מצווך לאמור פתוח תפתח את ידך לאחיך ולעניך ולאביונך בארצך כי ימכר לך אחיך העברי או העברייה ועבדך 6 שנים ובשנה השביעית תשלחנו חופשי מעמך.
ברכו את אדוני HaTorah. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם. Okay, thanks.
Asher natan.
She's got it. The Richards.
I'm sorry.
You're on it.
אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נתן בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Hashem Happens well.
Ta'amud, Hinda בת חנה והרשל, חמישית. Baruch Hu Adonai Hamorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamelech Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamorah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Sentence 13. Is that right?
Yes. V'chi tishachenu chafshi me'imach lo tishachenu reikam hanei tanik lo mitzvoncha umigorcha umikvecha asher berachecha Adonai Elohecha titen lo v'zacharta ki hayita be'eretz Mitzrayim v'yiftecha Adonai Elohecha kein Anochi mitzavcha et hadavar hazeh hayom.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
I'm slowly running out of sentences.
We can call you too.
Call myself?
I can call you. You
And
can call
actually stay
yourself.
there, and Angelia will take your place.
So ta'amod
Touch on the hanger.
Show
The
the
hanger.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamorah
Le'olam
Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Sentence 16.
והיה כי אמר אליך לא אצא מעמך כי אהבך ואת ביתך כי טוב לו עמך ולקחת את המרצע ונתת באזנו ובדלת והיה לך עבד עולם ואף לעמך תעשה לא יקשה בעיניך בשלחך אותו חפשי מעמך כי אם משנה שכר שכיר עברך 6 שנים וברכך אדוני אלוהיך בכל אשר תעשה.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ya'amod Shaul Ephraim ben Esther b'Shimon Shvi'i.
Whoa.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני מלך לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר בחר בנו כל עמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Wait,
19.
19.
כל הבכור אשר יוולד בבכורך ובצונך הזכר תקדיש לאדוני אלוהיך לא תעבוד בבכור שורך ולא תגוז בבכור צונך לפני אדוני אלוהיך תאכלנו שנה בשנה במקום אשר יבחר אדוני אתה וביתך וכי יבוא פיסח או עיוור כל רע לא תזבחנו לאדוני אלוהיך בשעריך תאכלנו הטמא והטהור יחדיו כצבי וכאייל רק את המול לא תאכל על הארץ תשפכנו כמים. ברוך Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan v'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
So that was Shvi.
now maftir.
Now,
Now,
Chatzi Kaddish.
yeah, Chatzi
one
Kaddish.
person, oh, okay.
Yitkadash v'yitkadash Shnei Rabba.
Amen.
Adirachirtei v'yamich malchutei v'chayei kol yom v'chol v'chayei kol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala, ba'agala, u'bizman ha'karim, v'yemelu, amen. Yehi Shnei Rabba v'Mara, Olam Yomei Amayam, Yitarach v'Yishtabach, Yitarach v'Minaseh, V'Tadar, V'Taleh, V'Talal, Shmei Kusha, Ve'elah, Mikol V'Chata, V'Shirata, Tushbechata, V'Nehemata, Ta'amiram B'Yama, V'Yemru,
Ya'amod, Reuven, Lev, Ben Mordechai, Maftir.
Andrew, can you come?
Never.
You don't think you're gonna have a chance to sit down?
That's right. I've been on vacation. I'm being here.
You're being me.
All right, where are we?
Kol HaBechor.
What, 9?
Actually, that's 3 lines. Chiyeh Bo.
Number 20. Okay, got it. Line 21.
I can't find it right now, but go ahead.
Here.
Somewhere, yeah.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamborah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Eloheinu.
Baruch Adonai Hamborah Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yehevomu. Piseach ol iver kol ma. Lo tizbechenu l'Adonai Elohecha. B'sharecha tafrenu hatamei v'hatahor yachdav katzvi v'chayal. Rak et amo lo tachel al haaretz tishbechenu kama.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan v'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah. Since we're here.
Okay,
So
so I
we
can
can
call
lay.
it Ya'amod, Magbiya, Mamod, Hakolelet.
Yeah, beautiful, perfect. And do you have a melody for today or not yet?
There is one from the Hallel.
Okay.
Sing
Judy is introducing
that tune.
some new melodies when we lift the Torah. So
It's on page 136,
I don't know if I can lift it to it.
7 lines from the bottom.
Practicing a lot of things.
But I can't wrap this on. I can't do that.
No, you don't have to do it.
Andrea's
We got
got
that. We got that.
When we move the,
Is on Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al-pi Adonai b'yad Moshe Korina v'Yeshua Korina v'Yeshua yored tzadikim Korina v'Yeshua Korina v'Yeshua yored tzadikim Yemin, Yemin, Yemin Adonai Osach Hayim Yemin, Yemin, Yemin Adonai Osach Hayim Yemin, Yemin, Yemin Adonai Osach Hayim Yemin, Yemin, Yemin Adonai Osach Hayim. Right, okay, very good. So now we're going to return the Torah to the ark. Do you want to lead us in this area as much as you can do?
I can do something.
I know you can do some, but not all of it. So, you want to start with the hallelujah?
Alright, alright.
And I can do it.
So I'll take the book.
Yeah,
I get to have the book.
you get to have the Torah, you get to have the book, I'll take this book. Page 153.
Yeah, hallelujah, Shem Adonai, Kishka Shmo Lavdo.
Hodo Aretz V'Shamayim V'Yaharem Kerem Li'am Tihila Lecho Asira L'Nei Yisrael Am Kirovo Hallelujah, Hallelujah.
Mizmor LeDavid.
Haru Ladonai Eli, Haru Ladonai Kavod Va'oz, Haru Ladonai Kavod
Yes.
The place of Adonai, Adonai,
This we have to have.
Kol Adonai, Chotei Lapadesh, Kol Adonai, Yachil Liba, Yachil Adonai, Liba Kadesh, Kol Adonai, Yechol Elayadon, Vayechesak Yarot, Uvechalot, Kulo Omer Kavod, Adonai Yamaboyah, Shavayeshem Adonai Melech Leolam, Adonai Ozion Loiteh, Adonai Yevaharech Etano
Shalom. Uzmo Yomar. Ki lecha tov natati lachem Torah
Eitz Chaim hi, Lamachazikim ba, V'tomchecha meushar, Derachecha darchei Noam, V'chol netivotecha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai, Ve'elecha v'nashuvo, Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu, Chadesh Yameinu,
Yeah, it's turned out.
I'll leave it.
Oh, thank you. Okay, there's still more?
Let's be seated. Judy, was this your book?
No, I didn't bring a Sidura, but I brought a Chumash.
I'll take it.
Here, I'll deliver it to you.
Oh, thank you.
So let's take a quick look at the Torah portion. So we should take some time even though. Let's say, no, shots. Okay. So let's go to 1076. And let's read the first
7th year, this shall be the remission. Every creditor shall remit the due that he claims from his fellow, not done his fellow or kinsman, for the remission of the Lord. You may done.
Thank you. So first, let's just make sure we understand very clearly. Every 7th year, let's say you grant some money to someone. So there's a debt. The debt period then is 7 years, and in that time, it's supposed to be paid back. Say the person who borrowed from you hasn't paid it all back by the 7th year. What happens? That's right. The debt is forgiven. Forgiven. Okay? What do you think about that?
I think it's a marvelous idea. I think that it shows a compassion for your fellow Israelite. It shows that you are thinking in terms of the whole of Israel, of the body of the people of God surviving, rather than just of yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it's always bothered me because why would they even do that? If they knew they were not, they knew for sure that they were pretty sure that they were not going to do that.
Because it shows up in the following lines, and it says that you will be blessed by God, but God will give you back more than what was owed to you if you will only think of your fellow man or fellow woman instead of just of yourself, even when it's in the 6th year and someone comes to beg money from you.
Let's read that. Let's go to verse 7. Someone want to take from verse 7 that paragraph?
If, however, there is a needy person among you, one of your kinsmen in any of your settlements in the land that the Lord your God is giving you, do not harden your heart and shut your hand against your needy kinsman. Rather, you must open your hand and lend him sufficient for what he needs, for whatever he needs. Beware lest you harbor the base thought. The 7th year, the year of remission, is approaching, so that you are mean to your needy kinsman and give him nothing. He will cry out to the Lord against you, and you will incur guilt. Give to him readily, and have no regrets when you do so. For in return, the Lord your God will bless you in all your efforts and in all your undertakings. For there will never cease to be needy ones in your land, which is why I command you, open your hand to the poor and needy kinsmen in your land.
This is not a business deal. We're not making money out of this, right? We don't charge interest. First of all, we don't charge interest to a fellow Jew. But not only that, we might lose the amount of money we gave them if they don't pay us back. But it's not purely a monetary transaction. It's a transaction of caring in the community, as I was saying. It's a transaction of how we want to make a community and support one another. And
It's tzedakah.
it's
You could just give tzedakah, not give the
Tzedakah.
business.
it's a potential tzedakah. If they don't pay you back, then it's a tzedakah. It's certainly an act of kindness, no matter what. And it's tzedakah, if we wanted to say, well, tzedakah is righteousness, yes. But tzedakah even is giving charity. It may or may not be. We don't know if we're going to get paid back. In money, we don't know if we're going to get paid back. But if we help somebody get on their feet, who is struggling to get on their feet, even if we didn't get the lousy whatever dollars we gave them, but we see that they're back on their feet, what is that? Maybe that's the blessing that God will give us. I don't know, it could be that one could read it and God will bless you, meaning we'll get riches and stuff. I don't read it that way. I read it will bless us with a fullness of heart. That we could be there for our fellow Jew. And there's something wonderful whether we get the dollars back or not. There's something wonderful to see that we help someone else.
It's something that you feel, the satisfaction that you get. You don't expect,
It's still cynical. I don't think the nature of humanity is so nice. Really, I'm just cynical. But it's wonderful, it's a beautiful idea.
And I must say that there were problems later on with this law. There were, even though it says very clearly in the Torah, even if it's close to the 7th year, you're still supposed to lend, there were people who were not lending. Like you're saying, people said, wait, I'm going to lose all this thing, I can't, whatever.
There's something that's creeping up in my mind that I might be totally wrong, something called a prosbul.
Yes, that's exactly where I was
Tell me
going.
about that.
That's exactly where I was going. So the Jewish community set up, you know how we have like a legal fiction with, we can have comments in our house if we sell it to somebody.
Yeah.
Even though we're not supposed to have any comments in our house, well, it's not ours. So Hillel set up a thing called the prosbul. That basically, instead of having this be a transaction between me and somebody else that would be canceled, they had to go through the courts. So it was like a legal fiction or a legal way around this. So eventually the money would be paid back. So whatever. Not as full-hearted as this, but at least it made sure that still the court would get loans. Okay. So, yeah.
Well, I missed what Eric said earlier, but I was hoping of repeating his words of brilliance, but
Say what?
but I was thinking about the whole social capital of as we rise, all people rise with the tide, and as we give to somebody else and they get on their feet, our whole community thrives or is better for that. And, I was thinking about before I had my kid, I paid taxes for, everything for all those years, and I didn't have anybody in school, I didn't use public services that much, but I still felt good knowing that my neighbors' kids were going to school and that I was contributing to their education in that way. And I just feel like I was connecting with that thought as we were talking about this, because there is something very valuable about making sure that as a community, we're strong, which I think is something.
Yes, in line with what I was saying.
Yeah.
I've wondered about something. In Holyoke, in the last year or 2 years, all of a sudden, there is a band of people standing on corners with signs homeless, with signs needy, and they're not Jews. And I've wondered whether one should give to them or not. But I noticed 2 things. One, the city has put up signs, usually right above them, that say, please donate only to recognized charities. And secondly, I've seen one young man with a big sign that says simply, need weed.
So at least that's straight.
I did a double take, I couldn't believe that.
At least it's a straight message on his part, so you
Somebody
know
else can do it.
what you're doing, and if you choose to, you can.
I think it's terrible that they're standing there and that they're allowed them. If they can stand there in the heat and the freezing weather for 8 hours, they can go and work and wash dishes. There's no any reason for such young men to stand there.
So I'll go ahead.
I just wanted to respond to the giving part of that. So in Northampton, that's a pretty prominent site as well, and some controversial things around it on Main Street or whatever. But what I do with that a lot of times is rather than give money, I buy people food. Or if I'm coming home from work and I have an apple left over from my lunch, and there's someone in a medium strip, I give them my apple. I mean, there's ways of contributing to people non-monetarily that are still helpful. And, I try to teach my son that I'm not so much, I would rather give to the charities that they suggest. But if there's somebody standing there and I have an apple, they can have my apple.
The city gets smoking.
Yes, that kills me.
And this is
Well,
killing
smoking
me.
and behind it.
Well, but then we're judging their
And drink all
lifestyles.
over, and they're living such a mess and such ugliness. It's absolutely shouldn't be allowed.
Well, there's a lot of sick and mentally ill or even healthy people who find themselves in situations that need help. And the fact that they smoke and drink, we get to make choices. That's why I offer them food. I'll feed you pizza or whatever. I'm not gonna give you more.
Caroline, Jacqueline will be very happy to hear what you say because she only food in her car, when she drives, she gives her food.
I used to keep granola bars with me.
Yes.
In group expression. I probably should do it again. I want to tell you a story, which is a true story. At the Shiva for Herb Goldberg, I was talking with a guy who served as his driver for a while. And the driver told me this story. He was with her, and they were driving, and the guy was driving a car, and they were coming to one of these people who was standing in the street with a sign. And Herb says, give him some money.
He didn't take out from his own money.
I don't know if it sounded like he told the driver to give from his own money. At least that's the driver told me. So, the driver did. And then when they drove away, Herb said to him, according to the driver, didn't that feel good to be able to help another human being? I just share the story. First of all, I think it says a lot about Herb, such a mensch. But also, I just wanted to share the story. The other thing is, if you notice in the part we read, if you look at verse 8, it says, it starts off in the Hebrew, Ki fatoach tiftach et yadcha. Because you should open your hand to him. It's a emphasis. It doesn't say just open your hand, it says the word twice to open your hand, okay? Fatoach tiftach. And again, verse 10, Naton titain lo, give to him. You should surely give, again, a double use of the verse about giving. And then one more time on verse 11, right near the end, the Patoach tiftach et yadcha le'achicha le'aniyecha le'egioncha ba'artzecha. Once again, the double open your hand.
But that is always saying to your kinsman.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's not answering your question exactly. But it does say ba'artzecha. So one could read it. You should open your hand to your brother first, to the person who's the member of your family. Le'oniyecha, to the poor within your community. Le'egioncha also, but be'artzecha, and also those in your land. And there's some who say you give in different levels, but it's also okay to give not in our community and not whatever. I guess I'd rather err on the side of opening my hand than closing my fist. And if I make one more comment about why both are said. One commentary says we're supposed to give before we're being asked. That's the first patoach. And the second patoach is we're supposed to give afterwards. Or at least to consider doing this. That's all.
The one thing that caused me to start giving money to these people was a display in the Amherst Library. There were large photographs of the people who were standing on corners or on the streets in Amherst. And then there was a long story about each one of them. And when you read these stories, it really broke your heart that some of these people had gone through so very much. And it made me wonder about this. I haven't seen the people in Amherst, but it made me start giving to people in Holyoke.
No,
I don't think there's any doubt that there's some people out there who, not everyone's a saint, and not everyone's whatever, but there are also some people out there who are probably really needy. And I guess I'd rather err on the side of opening my hand and closing my fist, even though I know that maybe sometime I made a mistake.
In our Ashrei, it's also said,
Exactly right. So, I found one other little comment related to this. Yes, please, definitely.
When we were doing the Torah reading, I was very struck by that last line 11, because there's sort of a presumption or just this, and to me it felt like a commandment, because it does actually use that word command, that, you know, you need to accept that there's always going to be somebody more needy than you in your community, and, you know, there's this need for you to open your hand. And I was struck by that because it was sort of like this acknowledgement, like, oh, you know, that's built into the fabric of our society, that there will always be somebody in need. That's all.
Yeah. It's so beautiful. What a segue. Oh, I'm sorry.
I also think that you can give of yourself to really, like, just instead of money, you can just, like, put a smile on someone's face. You don't even necessarily have to say something. I mean, I come down here early in the morning on Shabbat's, like, here to sing. And I come right down Cabot Street, and there are, you know, cross streets all the way down. And only a few of them have stop signs if you're going in the direction I am. But I slow down in each one of them because, you know, often, very often, there are people crossing the street or waiting to cross the street, and there are not traffic lights. And so sometimes, you know, some hothead behind me will get real mad, you know, like there wasn't a stop sign. And I just, what I start doing with it, I just put on my brakes at each one so they'll know, oh, this one's gonna stop any time, and they'll go roaring by me, and they'll end up at the same traffic light here. And I'm sorry to say that doesn't happen. I don't slow down. I just continue the pattern. And like this morning, I started, if there's a pedestrian, then I know that these people will know that, oh, she's gonna slow down and stop, and that's what I do. And, you know, usually it's just the person waves and goes across and they're happy that, or sometimes it's a mom with her kids or they're on a school day. Well, this morning it just was funny because this guy was like, you know, there wasn't anything terribly wrong, so he just got there in time, and he looked pretty cheerful, like he was enjoying a walk. He was an older man, and, you know, I had time there wasn't anybody behind me. I stopped and said, go across the bend. It was like at the light on Beach Street, and you gotta watch the so he goes, no, and so, you know, so I said, and he just smiled like he was so happy that, like, someone would have stopped.
Someone gave him attention.
Yeah, you know, and I thought, that feels nice, you know, and it just, that, I don't know, it's just like, felt good, you know. And when I came out of my house, there were two of my neighbors, the guys, sometimes do work for the landlord. And sometimes I've noticed they let one of the little kids work with them. One of them's a father, and he lets his kid, who's maybe about, like, just maybe 10, maybe a little younger. And he was down there today, but they had him down in a little trench they were digging, and they were digging through old, like tar. I mean, the fathers were doing the hard work, but he was sitting there. And I said, oh, what are you guys doing? You're digging a trench. And they said, yeah, I'm a drainage, you know, whatever. And so I the kid looked up at me a couple of times. He was in the down. I said, oh, they're letting you help. He's like really proud. It's like, yeah. And I said, that's fun, huh? Yeah. And I said, gosh, you're working hard. You're sitting in the trench. And, you know, the fathers laughed and the kid loved it.
Very nice.
These interactions are so precious.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that really relates to the Torah reading too, because it says we should give day machzoro, enough for their needs. It doesn't say just for their monetary needs. It's also for their needs and their neshama. And that kindness that you show, people also need that. And you're
Well, you know, the fathers were working. I don't mean to, but it changed their idea, like, down, you're doing this, you know, because
That's a gift too. That is a
Yeah,
gift.
whenever you park here and the kid crossing you, they're so much just, hi, how are you? You know, they're all so, they're looking.
it just made him an
But I want to tell the quickest story. In Israel, you know, most likely, Judy know, the Sephardic, the older people that don't work anymore, meet like in a corner every day in the seat and they drink coffee and this is talking. And so that's why I was brought up, to all of them groups sitting someplace. Do you remember the big trees that we cut them out outside? Anyway, so every time that I drove to work here, was there 3 people, 4 people that
Right.
sitting and they used to see me, oh, and I used to, these people like love me, and I thought this is the kind of people, I didn't know. And when I had the luncheon, I would bring them out food, if it was dessert, if it was soup, whatever, depending, and they were so grateful, unbelievable. And slowly, most likely the word came out, and more people came, and more people came. In the end, we cut the trees because of this. But they stopped disturbing the girls. And I didn't know that they are homeless. I had no idea. But the girls stopped being afraid to come in because they ask for money and so they cut the tree with that. But I absolutely accepted, you're so idiot, you didn't know that there's, I said, no, that's going in Israel, they like to meet every day to sit and talk, So, so this would happen to us here. Was one particular, I loved him. It couldn't wait for me to come in, to stand away. To say hi.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, there's one other piece which is not totally related to what we both saying, but I want to sort of conclude with this. It was following up on you saying that this is really a commandment, though, we have to do this. So מהפסוק הזה לימדו חז"ל דין מצוות צדקה שהיא מצוות עשה מן התורה. So from this sentence here that we have to open up our hands to the needy, our rabbis of old said that this is a mitzvah, it's a commandment. Not a mitzvah in the sense of good deed, but a mitzvah, a commandment, that we have to open up our hands to the needy. It is a commandment. So, they ask, if it's a commandment, why do we say a bracha before doing the commandment? Interesting question. I know we all been thinking about this. Why do we have a bracha? But it is an interesting question. So, one answer is because any mitzvah that is connected with another person, we can't say the commandment. What if they don't accept the money or whatever? What if they don't want it? It's not just our mitzvah, they're accepting it as part of it too. So that's one answer they have, one response. In other words, the pure Jewish, not cynicism, but like, there was one rabbi, who would make a big blessing before washing his hands and doing a whole big thing, and then would say the blessing before washing his hands. So this rabbi, Bunim Shishcha, who I love, said, yeah, we could spend so much time giving this big blessing that the poor person would die from hunger. Give him the money already. I love it. What do you know? That's like Yiddish. You should say your blessing. The poor person's dying from hunger. One more. כיוון שמצוות צדקה קשורה במציאות העני ומצוקתו, אין מברכים עליו. Which is because the blessing, the commandment of tzedakah is connected with the sad reality of someone being poor and the distress that they are facing. We don't say a blessing on them. Which I just want to put that out there. Such a different. Sometimes the tradition, you think, wow, you got to say a blessing on everything. Our heart has to go out too.
What are you reading from? What is that?
This is a wonderful collection called Iturei Torah. It follows the Torah portion, And it has mostly Hasidic, but not only, insights into different phrases in the Torah portion. And I love it. I think it's wonderful. And I recommend it. So, I know this is late, but I did want to say just one more quick thing, and that is, I asked way back, what's the connection to the high holidays? This is a long shot answer, but just like this tells us that sometimes you gotta, even though someone owes me money, and I lend you money and I'm due this money, sometimes you gotta give it up. Maybe for greater good. And sometimes we hold on to hurts. Right? Sometimes we hold on to hurts. Maybe, just like God will bless us when we give up that debt and say, well, maybe that helps someone. I'm not saying in all cases, but maybe sometime we should look at those hurts we're holding on to and say, just like the debt I'm going to give up on, let it go. Let it go. What am I getting at it? Not saying in all cases, something to think about as we're approaching the high holidays. What's that pain and anger that keeps us from opening to other people and whatever by holding on to stuff?
This thing comes with age. You learn to let go of anger and think it's only with your age. You learn to
So anyways, thank you for this long time. It's great.
I wish I could. You have to let go. I think we can go to your house.
Let's go right to Aleinu,
So they say it's coming with age.
page 183. This week, we recall Harry Baker, Herb Halperin, Gertrude Hirsch, Zelda Olin, Frank Stone, Bill Robbins. Warner's Kaddish, page 184. Yitkadash Shnei Rabba Ba'alma Dibra Chirutei Yamlich Malchutei B'chayechon U'Yomechon U'Chayei B'chol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala U'Bizman Kari B'Imru
Amen.
Yehi Shnei Rabba B'Barach Yomam Elohei Almayah Yiparach V'Yishtabach V'Yitpa'al V'Yitroman V'Yitnaseh V'Yithadar, V'Yithalech, V'Yithalal, Shnei D'Kudsha, Ve'eva Mikol Birchata V'Shirata, Tushbechata V'Nechemata, Da'amiran V'Aman V'Imru,
Amen.
Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'Chaim Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Imru,
Amen.
Oseh Shalom V'Ramad, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Imru.
Amen.
Any announcements?
No minion on Monday morning. Did you
No
hear
minion on Monday morning.
Pass it back. And the other announcement is Adon Olam's on page 187. Adon Olam Asher Asher Olam V'terem Kol Yisir Yisir Nira V'yein Nasa V'chetzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'acharei Kicho Tako Hadon Yimloch Yimloch Torah V'hu Haya V'hu Hogeh V'hu Yiyeh V'tifara V'hu Yiyeh V'tifara V'hu Echad V'yein Sheni V'ham Shilo V'hachira Beli Reshit, Beli Tachli, Velo Ha'oz V'ha'misra, Velo Ha'oz V'ha'misra, V'hu Eili, V'chai Go'ali, V'sur Chemri, V'eki Etzara, V'hu Nisi Umanosli, Menakosi V'yomekra, Menakosi V'yomekra, V'yahadom Machkira Kiruchi, V'netisha V'yahayra, V'imruchi Geviyati, Adonai Li V'lo Ira, Adonai V'lo Ira. Shabbat Shalom and Chodesh Tov. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom. Shabbat Shalom,
So you can
Shabbat Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
You can do some.
Alright, so we got to be God.
He wants to learn, he's knowledgeable, he likes our and he likes us, he's a good guy.
No,
Oh, nice.
that's very cheap.
He was in the
Very nice.
I take classes.
Remember that you are not leaving.
No, I'm going downstairs.
The computer stuff.
I don't want any money for that.
Shabbos,
And you say the thank you.
Radio cats.
Okay.
He's our Gabon,
Well, now I'm coming right on the stage.
permanent Gabon.
Wait.
Let's do
Yes,
it.
she'll-
Thank you. Jonathan,
Maybe she can be chair of a religious committee. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, Julia.
Okay. So, in times like this, you sign up.